After makeup. Before makeup. 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 After makeup. Before makeup.
Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving our praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And I'm just going to entitle this lesson, Burning Instead of Beauty. Because as you can clearly see, the clip that I featured, it shows women, after they put makeup on and before. They didn't do the before and after, they did after and before, because it shows you, what women look like after they put makeup on, But what do they look like before they put it on, man? And as you can see, it was primarily so-called black women, But you did have, what looked to be a Moabite woman, a Gook, a couple Edomite women, But it just goes to show you that this makeup or fake up that women have nowadays that wear that crap, is really witchcraft, man, because they're altering their look, because they know they look one way, but they're altering how they actually look, man. But, this is why, a lot of men, I speak for myself when I say I don't like a chick that wears a lot of makeup, because again, if you gotta wear tons and tons of makeup, obviously you're hiding something, man. So I'm not gonna make this one long at all, man. I'm just gonna read, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 on down. That'll be it. And as you can see, the subtitle reads Judah's women denounced. So it's talking about, the tribe of Judah, you women in particular, So this is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. And it says, Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, and it's like it walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet, meaning, because our women, they had, the little ankle bracelets, that. And again, how our women walk, man, swaying their hips, this and that, switching. You get the point, but it says with stretched forth necks, man, because again, you so-called Negro women, you're proud, you're extremely proud. And it goes to show that this was being said is true, Now, obviously, just to clarify, the sisters, out there, that are, again, keeping themselves in order, they're keeping themselves in line, doing what they're supposed to do. Again, this is not talking about you, just, keep doing it, keep doing what you're doing, man, But to all you wicked Israelite women, yeah, this is talking about you. So verse 17, it says, Therefore the Lord will smite thee, Slakia. Therefore the Lord will smite with a crown, Slakia. They'll excited. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. And who are the primary nation of women that have to wear these wigs and weaves in their head, man? It's you so-called black women. Because again, it's not all black women, but again, the good majority of you, because you do have, a small amount, I'll say, depending on where you go, but primarily here in America, you're not going to find that many black women that actually wear their natural hair, and then if they have long hair at that, man, because again, just like it says in the scriptures that, hair is, the glory of the woman. A woman's hair is her glory, But what did the Lord do? He cursed you Negro women, So this is why a lot of so-called black women have a hard time growing their hair. And that's the reason why they have to wear the hair hats, so that the hair hats, which are these weaves and wigs, man. Verse 18 says, "In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cauls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels." And again, just, the different jewelry that our women would wear. Verse 22, the changeable suits of apparel. And, really all women, but especially the Israelite woman, she loves to dress. This is why, women have a lot of these clothes, man. The changeable suits of apparel. It's like it says. And the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pans, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And this is the main point. And this verse right here, verse 24, says, "And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink." And again, man, a prime example of this, is when you read in Esther, what did she do before, she was, married to Xerxes, or Ahasuerus? What did she do? She soaked in oil, man, and those sweet smells. That's what, our women would do, that, I forget, I think it's called the purification, if I'm not mistaken. Again, before a woman would get married, she was soaking oil, man, so that she would smell good, But obviously now, and just like it says, there should be stink, and we know exactly where that stink would come from. So it's really even no need to go into detail. It's self-explanatory. And it says, instead of a girdle, a rent. So again, this is why a lot of so-called Negro women are out of shape. They're fat, man. Again, that's a curse, because our women aren't supposed to be fat. You're supposed to be slim, lean, But again, man, because of your pride, the Lord cursed you with these things, man. And instead of well set hair, baldness, so right, instead of that long flowing hair, again, it's short, have a hard time growing it, or even certain women suffer from, alopecia. Excuse me, it's like it, which again, when they lose their hair, they become bald, literally, And instead of a stomacher, a girdle of sackcloth. So right, man, women, they don't really wear these girdles like that, to help keep their, their waist and stomach small. Again, they're out of shape, just pretty much let everything hang out. And this is the main point. This part of the verse right here, the latter part of the verse. And burning instead of beauty. So again, man, a lot of so-called black women, they're not attractive like they used to be, and you clearly seen in that video all of those women without that makeup on, and even certain of them, just me personally, even with the makeup on, still not attractive, but again, man, that just goes to show you how far we have fallen as a nation, and how far the Israelite women, the tribe of Judah in particular, how far she has failed, man. Because this is a curse. And if you don't believe that you are cursed, man, again, just read this, what I just read, and then take a look at our women, man, because it's true. Nothing that's written about the Israelites in this book, or nothing that's written in the Bible, period, is false, man. But any scriptures, describing the attributes of the Israelites, the men and the women, it's all true, But that's the main point, man. Again, all of those women that were in that video, before they put that makeup on, man, they were ugly. They were. But what did that makeup do? It saved their lives. So again, they can fool, a guy, if they were to go out to a club or to a bar or something like that, But once it comes off, man, again, man, you gonna be ready to fight, But hey, all jokes aside, man, this is true, First and foremost, that makeup, that shit is witchcraft, man. Because again, you women are altering your looks, to look one way, and you look completely different. Again, all of these women that wear this makeup, have low self-esteem because again, they don't like the way that they actually look, instead of just, their natural beauty, because certain women that wear this makeup don't have to wear it, but you clearly see the ones that were in this video, yeah, they gotta wear it, man, and again, just like it's primarily the Israelite woman, the tribe of Judah woman in particular, that suffers from this, but even then, you clearly see even the women of other nations follow suit with this damn makeup, man, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till next time I say Shalom.